tubonge.
Them don't copy so see that time I'm a party man. How many parcels are hey my party man? Cause a girl them me not touch nobody man. Cause him super rap up your body go. There's another monkey they look at the tail. My nigga go to yourself. So my name wanna bend the village dimina delay. Dimina delay.
Oyo kuna design flani hivi kama umetweeta na tumefika. Sio? Last time tulikuwa kwa design flani kama Nakuru, lakini leo tunakuletea show nzima, mpango mzima tukiwa Narok. Tuliongea kuhusu toxic relationship, I hope ulifaidika. Hiyo ni last time. Leo tunaongea kuhusu kinga dhidi ya ukimwi, yani kuwa safe. Unajua? Niko na Aisha. Take it.
Oh, amazing. Narok County, what's good? Asante sana, the energy is crazy. Ndio ile jamaa latasema energy iko amazing. So I want to start by introducing my experts today. And job is not at a fast face here.
Yes.
So second episode, umerudi tena, tuone umerudi na nini. We're doing things differently. Kuna stage up a Narok and the energy is crazy. DJ Genius, drop a beat. Job. Kazi nzuri. All right, so Daktari, I hope you're ready.
Okay.
So yeah. from Family Health Options Kenya, umetuletea nini? Tuone dance moves zako ni gani. Genius, drop a beat. A big shout out to Daktari. Asante sana. So that is Dr. Methusela from Family Health Options Kenya. All right, so hao ndio takuwa experts wetu wa leo. Remember pale katika mtandao mtatupata kwa Instagram, kwa Twitter, Facebook @Aisha Wanjiku @Jamal Gaddafi. Hashtag ya kutumia ni tubonge with a 2 in it. All right? Ones and twos, DJ Genius doing his thing. So we are about to dive into the topic of the day. Na leo we are talking about contraceptives in relation to HIV prevention. You're my rhyme by the way. All right, so let's take a look at this feature first about Narok County. Alafu jump into the topic of the day.
Narok County, home of the Maasai community and home of Africa's greatest wildlife reserves, famous for the 8th wonder of the world, the Great Wildebeest Migration. For decades, the community has held on to cultural practices that are a hindrance in sexual reproductive health matters.
Our community, partly, this county, is patriarchal. You realize that it's male-dominated. Sometimes women have no say in terms of making decisions. Talk of family planning. Women have no control over unless they do it without the knowledge of the man.
The county has a population of just over 1 million people, and the youth aged between 15 to 24 years constitute 20% of the population. This bracket contributed to 47% of all new HIV infections in the county. A 2014 report by the Kenya National Demographic and Health Survey says 41% of women and 51% of men who had reported 2 or more sexual partners did not use a condom during their last sexual encounter. With these, practices such as the use of contraceptives such as condoms advocated for HIV/AIDS prevention is not widely embraced despite the awareness.
My youth to access contraceptives ni tricky. Mostly madem obviously uogopa. So kama ni boy, ni anafaa, unajua tuna believe ni maboy anafaa kukuja na CD, ni wao anafaa kutuletea ma CD.
And when I went home, my periods were like zinakawia kukam, so nilikuwa like kwani shida ni nini? Nikakumbuka I didn't even take emergency pills. So when I told the guy I think I might be pregnant, the guy was like, no, that can't be mine, it can't be mine. So I was so disappointed. Yet, by the way, he was the only person I was sleeping with, so I was so disappointed.
According to Wamboi, unprotected sex among the youth and the misuse of emergency pills among her peers is alarming.
Okay, sasa pills ziko na hizo side effects, like menses zako zinaweza chelewa ama zikuja mapema. So spend your kuandago your stress ya like hauko sure kama uko na bola ama hauna.
Because the moment utaonyesha boy you're ready to take that pill, and they always say sex bila CD it's more fun, itakuwa like can take that advantage.
In a generation where pregnancy is said to be feared more than sexual infections, Evans Saitoti has been teaching young girls on how to stay safe from preying matatu operators through the VCT outreach programs.
Wachani na nini kuwa sponsored na ama driver na conductor, cause unajua conductor akishika pesa those guys wanapenda nini, wanapenda wase wako na pesa cash in hand.
Bus stops tumeweza kuestablish dropping points za CDs za condoms, so makanga ana hiyo hustle ya kwenda kutafuta CD sijui kwa dispensary ama kwa hospitali ama nini.
And I personally speak to people, they say they are pregnant, probably somebody has this strong sexual desire and they really want to have sex. Them that are pregnant, we normally tell them to keep the pregnancy, actually, because we really don't advocate for their abortions.
The county government of Narok has lined up programs to combat HIV in this county.
The most notable thing that we've tried to do at the facility level is to create some kind of youth-friendly service centers where we integrate all the services. It's not easy for a youth to just walk into a family planning unit while everyone is watching them. So we try as much as we can to integrate with other services that somebody can just come in for other clinical services.
With a high probability of acquiring new HIV infection past sexual contact among the youth, the right contraceptive use needs to be promoted, besides breaking the cultural barriers in matters sexual reproductive health.
Amazing, inspiring feature umepata kuona ya Narok. Umepata kuna story nzuri kuhusu Narok. Sikujua. Anyway, tuambie uko wapi mtazamaji, unaangalia show ukiwa wapi? Chukua full control kwenye kiganja chako. Chukua simu yako. #kwenye Twitter #tubonge. Tubonge. Alafu tunakuwa tunaconverse nyinyi na sisi.
All right, so it's about that time we dive into the topic of the day. Na leo tunaongelea kuhusu contraceptives, Jamal.
Yo.
In relation to HIV prevention, wadhani, what's the first thing that comes to your mind ukisikia neno contraceptives kama Jamal?
Kinga.
Kinga.
Yeah.
Tunasema tunachukua full control sisi kama vijana, si ndio?
Naam.
Tunajikinga, pia tunajua status yetu, HIV status, si ndio? All right, so let's start with Mr. Joab.
When we talk about HIV prevention, you are right, the starting point is abstinence. Abstinence is the best way of preventing any new HIV infection. For those who can't abstain, we can now talk about condoms.
Yes.
And condoms are effective in preventing new HIV infection. They're also effective in preventing sexual transmitted infections and also unplanned pregnancy. So for us here, we start with abstinence, then talk about condoms, because when we talk about new HIV infections, right now we are saying almost half of new infections are in this age group that is with us here. So how do we prevent any further new infections? And that's why we are here. And over 93% of these new infections occur through sex. And that's why we want to prevent it. You either abstain, as I've said, or if you can't, you can use a condom consistently and correctly.
Mr. Director, I'm Buta from Narok County. Ningependa kukuuliza, how can we as the youths just create awareness? How will you help us as youth directors to help our youth in the marginalized rural areas to use the contraception in prevention of these HIV/AIDS and to control family planning in the rural areas?
As National AIDS Control Council, we are coordinating the national response to HIV and AIDS. to ensure that every Kenyan is reached with information on HIV prevention and also access HIV services. In terms of marginalized areas, we are currently rolling out 100% condom program, which will ensure that everybody has access to adequate supply of free condoms. The government currently provides free condoms, but now what we are doing, we are going an extra mile to ensure that everybody, including those marginalized areas, can access condoms. Condoms will be available in all public places where they can access, especially anybody who requires to have sex, but they must be adults above 18 years. But for young people below 18 years, we are continuing to advocate for abstinence,
Yes.
providing information, even you in a learning institution. We are aware that only 58% have correct knowledge about HIV prevention. So our target is the 42% who don't have correct information.
All right, thank you so much for that information. So, Dr. Methusela, probably just to give us a better understanding of contraceptives, especially the emergency pills, because I know with this kind of generation, for the ladies, we tend to use it. Unajua, we pop it, ni kama ni njugu, jamani. Kila siku watu watafuna hizi tembe. So the side effects of it, yeah, in as much as it's a pill that, it's used to prevent the pregnancies.
Yes, emergency pills, we have many brands available in the market, and they are sold over the counter. One can obtain them without prescription.
Yes.
There are many brands. There are some which are only one hormone, that is levonorgestrel, and there are others who have combined hormones. So the pills can be one, if it is progesterone only. I mean, there are only two but taken once. But there are those which are combined with the estrogen, which are taken one, and you repeat after 12 hours. These should be taken within 5 days of exposure. And they are effective in the prevention of pregnancy, but they also have side effects. Because of the high hormonal content which is given, somebody is likely to experience nausea or vomiting, and mainly that one. But repeated use, we have seen that they may fail to prevent pregnancy because of continuous continuous use of the emergency pill. So what we say is, if one needs a method to stop from getting pregnancy, you should use a method which is more reliable. There are many methods available in the facilities all over the country, including the rural area where he says there are health centers and there are people who are trained. There are other hormonal methods apart from the pill, like the emergency pill, like pills, and we also have injectables. We also have implants, which are hormonal. Then we also have other methods, which also can be used like intrauterine device. There are also many brands of that. But there are also other methods, like the permanent method for those who do not wish to have any more children, which they can use. But we said that all these methods, when they are being used, you should also combine with the using of condom because of prevention of HIV, because these methods do not prevent HIV.
Yeah.
But
that's for married people, guys. Umesikia?
So inamaanisha
Sisi sana sana tunatulia. Ndio.
Kuna age fulani ambayo ndio inatakana alivyo daktari alivyosema, sio? Married people. So from 15 to 18 ni abstinence.
Abstinence, absolutely.
Absolutely.
Yes. Yani hakuna ile debate.
Hakuna kuruka. Tumefunga.
Kufungwa.
Kuanzia 18 hapo ndo kuanza kujikinga. Kama damu yako
bado kama huwezi
kujizuia. I got you.
All right. So from your end, Jamal, kuna nini hapo kwa simu?
Namwona Alima Salim anasema anatupata loud and clear akitoka Msambweni Mombasa. Salute.
Oh, nice.
Anasema na kinga za wanawake hazipatikani.
Yes, female condoms zinapatikana, lakini sio kwa wingi, because when we compare in terms of pricing between the male condom and the female condom, the male condom is much, much cheaper. So when you compare, the female condom goes for about 100 to 150, which is really on the higher side. So you find that because of the price, the female condom is not always available, but also it goes with the use, because we have seen that people are used with the male condom rather than the female condom. So it's rare to find that couples are looking for the female condom rather than the male condom. Yes.
Joab, what's your take on this?
The issue of the female condom, just as I have said, they are relatively few. But as the government and the Ministry of Health, our target is to reach all Kenyans, and it's cheaper to reach them with the free male condoms than the relatively expensive female condoms,
yeah, true.
which are, that's why they are relatively not available. But free male condoms are available. You can access them all over the country in almost all government facilities and also public places.
Watu wa Narok mmesikia? All right. So tukuje hapa kwa DJ Genius.
So mimi naweza sema mavijana wajichunge, watumie condom. Condom ndio muhimu.
Condom re.
Yeah, condom re.
Weka ngoma tukule ngoma, manake tunasema ni conversations but pia tunakula burudani. All right? Join our conversation on Twitter and Instagram as well. The hashtag to use is tubonge with the 2. Sindio? Twende basi. Aya, Narok, talent iko wapi? My hype man wa kwangu.
Cock your gun, shoot Satan. Devil up in there. Shoot Satan. I worry. Shoot Satan. Cock your gun, shoot Satan. Watch out. Devil up in there. Fisama ya. You might think me a speaking tongue. I saw me break it down. Fi understand this hippopotamus. You can see already the boy just stand firm. So guess what? The boy is about to get time and say ha.
Alizamtoi akamuita Hope. Alimuita Hope ndio despite every time atakuwa go through challenges huko nje, alikuwa anajua home kuna hope. Alimuita Hope ndio akiona challenges ajifunze kuko pale. Alimuita Hope cause ni alifanya kwa shingo sawa iweka hope.
Brooklyn price and this devil have been no. Me no need a six pack. Bible and me and then have to be Satan pa. What you want put together nobody